It's wrap up time plus TBR time. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and in today's video I am doing a September wrap up plus an October TBR. Oh, and one more thing, we can't forget the coffee. Pumpkin spice latte with a little bit of cinnamon on top. You already know, it's that time of season. I'm like being really cringe, but to be cringe is to be free. So good, 10 out of 10. Okay, so here is all the books in total. Starting off with my September wrap up. I read 5.5 books because one of them I did not finish. Starting off with The Natural, I read this in the beginning of September and I rated this a 3.8 stars. So it's basically about some kids who has powers and the FBI brings them together to solve mystery cases, and there's like plot twists, there's some friendship, there's some romance. You know, it's a really fun idea. In this book, I felt like it wasn't giving enough. I really wanted to see more of their powers, or like their powers being explained more in detail. But it is a series, so maybe it'll get better throughout the series. I very much enjoyed it. It's very fast paced. Yeah, that is that for this book. Then after that, I picked up Keeping 13. This is the second book to the Boys of Tommen series. I love Binding 13. I love that book so much. I think it is my top book, one of my top books. It's like up there. It's up there, you guys. I didn't finish it. I got through like mid 200 mark, so I don't have much to say about this book. It's good so far. It's basically like just a continuation of Johnny and Shannon's story. Johnny building up his strength, getting back up after experiencing an injury, and then Shannon with her abusive father. She's trying to get through that. So yeah, that is all I have to say for this book because I didn't finish it. Really good, really good. And then this one is super exciting to me because it has been one of my most anticipated reads so far, or I don't know if I word that correctly, but yeah. And I like just been putting it off for so long. I read Fourth Wing. I rated this a 4 stars. It wasn't quite that 5-star feeling. I definitely really enjoyed this book. This story is basically about Violet. She is forced by her mother, who is the commanding general. She is basically like forced to go to a college that involves dragons and become a dragon rider, but she's smaller and weaker than everyone else, so it is a struggle for her. She's basically like risking her life every single day at this dragon college, but as the story goes on, she like building up her confidence and her skills. And then I also read The 7-Year Slip and I rated this a solid 4 stars. Before I like mention anything else, I want to say that this book was not set in fall. I could have missed something, but this was not set in fall, but yeah, it's not a big deal because the story itself is really good. It is basically about Clementine. Her aunt passed away a few months ago and she's really grieving, and then she moves into her aunt's apartment. She finds a man standing in her kitchen, but then she later finds out that this man is actually from the past, from 7 years ago. 7 years ago he was also living in that apartment. There's a lot of emotional connection, so if you really like that, I think this book would be really perfect. The writing was really beautiful. This book is honestly like really beautiful. Yeah. I read If He Had Been With Me. This is a sad book. It follows the story of Autumn and Finn, who used to be best friends since literally like birth, and then they just started ignoring each other around high school, and they are just on opposite sides. Finn is like the popular kid. He's surrounded by the popular kids, and then Autumn, she's like on the other side. Basically, they're opposites. They're on the opposite. They have opposite. Yeah, you guys know what I mean, right? The writing is really interesting too. It would be like, let's say it would be one day something is happening, and then it would jump to maybe a week later or 3 days later. I'm giving an example. It skips key parts and like highlights of things that are happening in their lives or her lives, because this is only written from Autumn's point of view. And then there's also a book that is written in Finn's point of view, and I should read that, but that's not the point. The story is throughout freshman year of high school to her senior year of high school, so I thought that was really interesting and cool to read. I rate this book a 4.8. Next, I have yours truly. This is a 5 stars, an absolute 5 stars for me. And this is dual point of view. Oh, I also want to add Binding 13 is also dual point of view, just in case anyone was wondering. This is about Brianna and Jacob. They are both doctors and work at the same hospital. Brianna just got divorced with her husband. She finds trusting men really hard. And then Jacob, he struggles a lot with anxiety. One day, Jacob and Brianna stumble upon each other. They already knew each other because they work in the same place, but everyone thinks Jacob is like stuck up and rude because they misunderstand him. There's a small incident and she thinks that he's being rude to her. Then later they resolve this issue between each other. I love her writing. That is it for my September wrap up. Now let's move on to my October TBR. This is the stack. There are 5 books actually that I want to read. One is missing because I don't have it yet, but I do plan on getting it this month. We're gonna start off with A Court of Mist and Fury. You guys, look at how chunky this book is. This is the second book of the Avatar series, and I really loved the first book, and so I'm really excited to read this one. A lot of people say that this was their favorite from the whole series. I think this is like the perfect time to start reading it. I'm not too sure what the plot of this book is. All I know is that Farah has to spend some time with, I forgot his name, the dude from the Night Court. I love going into a book blind though, because you just don't have any expectations. You either get wowed or you get, what's the opposite of wow? You get the opposite of wowed. I want to continue reading Good Girl Bad Blood. This is the second book of the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. This is a mystery book, and it is about Pip, who is like not a detective anymore because her last case really just took a lot out of her. I don't want to spoil the first book, but it just like ruined some stuff in her life and took a lot from her. Someone goes missing, and you know, the police won't do anything about it, so Pip kind of has no choice but to investigate. So basically she just gets on another case. Next, I picked up the novel Love Story. This is the same author as the 7-Year Slip. This book is also about magical realism. Aileen, I think that is her name. She is a reader. She feels safe in her stories. Her car unexpectedly breaks down, and then she finds herself standing in a quaint town that seems like it's right out of a novel, because it is. This place can't be real, and yet she's here in the town from her favorite romance series. I really love the cover too. So colorful and cutesy. I heard some people say that this is actually, regardless of the cover, this actually gives off really fall vibes. And then One Dark Window, and this is like the book that I'm currently reading. This book is about Elspeth, lives in a kingdom where there was like a sickness going around that consumed people, and then the sickness consumed her, and she calls him the Nightmare. He's like trapped in her mind. And then when Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure blunder of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew. Okay, yeah, so basically this is a gothic fantasy, so it's very gloomy, very fantasy, yeah. And then another book that I really want to read is Assistant to the Villain. I saw Alexa rating it and talking about it. She described it in such a way that intrigued me to read the book. So I really want to read that this month. It's like been one of my most anticipated reads. I don't know any of their names, but it's about a girl who's looking for a job, and then there's a villain everyone in the kingdom is afraid of because he's just like this malicious, mean person. And and then she ends up in his like castle or something. I don't know if he offers her a job, but she gets a job at his castle. He just can't resist laughing and being goofy when he's around her. So yeah, let me try to pick this up without it falling. Okay, that is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye. I read just a continuation of Johnny and then Autumn. She's like, I wouldn't say the weird